let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
That's the signal. Go, 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 go. 6. It's beautiful. Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up and let's go.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Good to have you here on the 13th of October. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com, on the Rush Radio Android app or the TuneIn app, thank you so much for tuning us in this morning. Make sure to hit that favorites and have us on your presets when you get into your car on the Android Auto or the Apple CarPlay. If you're watching on YouTube this morning, thank you so much, and hit that subscribe button. We like subscribers. It means you're part of the community. Also, give this video a like and start leaving your comments in the comment section. You can also follow us on X at Rush Mornings, Facebook, The Rush with Travis and Ross, and on Instagram, The Rush Radio Show. Bringing in the man of the hour. I think he's there. I know he's there. There he is. There he is. The one, the only Ross Peterson, who is walking across the Irish countryside, has gotten to his location, setting up his equipment as we speak, but he's going to start on the phone. What's going on, buddy?
How are you, buddy? A few minutes later than I'd hoped to be, but can I show everybody where I am here?
Absolutely, you can show everybody where you're at.
See, if I could have set up outside, I'm overlooking one of the most beautiful gardens in the world here in Ireland. We're at a place called Old House Estates, Old Bridge Estate. It's a beautiful old, I call it a castle, but they call it a house here in Ireland. And if I wouldn't have been so chatty on my walk this morning, I would have, because I'm a minute away from being set up in there. Really, I'm a minute away.
Go figure, you get chatty. Go figure, you get chatty.
Yeah, it's what happens. It's what happens when you're in a place like this.
It's funny. Ross called me about 5:30 this morning, and he's like, "Hey, we stopped at this cafe, and we're thinking about stopping here." And then I get a call 5 minutes later. "Hey, we're going to go to the next place." I'm like, "He's not going to make it. He's not going to make it."
Listen, first place didn't have Wi-Fi. We stopped at that cafe.
Was?
That's why. That was the reason. And Courtney was actually the one that came up with that. She's like, "Hey, I don't think they have Wi-Fi here." I'm like, "Oh, that's going to be a big problem if they don't."
Yeah, but you know, where there's a will, there's a way, and thank God for cell phones, and you sound just like you would be in the studio.
Oh, good,
so
good. That's what I was worried about. So I'm glad to hear that. Well, then maybe what we could do, because I do have a power strip for my phone. If we can't get everything set up here in a minute, I could. While we're doing it, we'll just stand here. Why not?
Yeah, what you do is you let Courtney set everything up, and then you be like the ultimate talent, and you walk back in during the break and say, "Hey, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go."
What an idea. Well, she's going to love it when I go in and go, "Hey, the talent has spoken."
Yes. It's all about talent. I mean, we got to take care of you. Before we a lot of stuff happened over the weekend, and we're going to dive into that. But I know you went whale watching and dolphin watching the other day on the rough. Was that the Atlantic Ocean you were on?
It was the Atlantic Ocean, but it wasn't rough, man. It was
really. It looked like.
I want to say it wasn't rough, but Courtney did get motion sick, so I can't say it wasn't that rough. But no tough seas or anything like that. We didn't see any whales, but we saw a ton of dolphins. We saw a few tuna, some pufferfish, some like I think they're called puffer birds. They're the bird that's on the Guinness logo.
Okay, all right.
You know what I mean? Saw a couple of those.
I know what you mean.
Okay.
I
think we're getting in trouble.
Oh, really?
We'll see.
What are you doing here?
Yeah. Well, I started to set my equipment up inside where the power is.
And then you didn't ask for permission?
dude, we got here at the last second. I even said, hey, Courtney, will you go up and try to order something for us that they know that we're customers? But yeah, I think that they're getting angry with us. So maybe we'll be on the phone today.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong. You may need to find a power strip but after 2 hours, that phone's going to be like at zero, and your arm's going to be like falling off.
That's
Ross,
the other problem.
If you're listening on the audio stream, Ross is literally holding his phone up in the air, and in about 15 minutes, he's going to have no feeling left in that arm because he's holding it straight out. Well, the countryside looks good, and we will make do with what we make do with. Ross, the big news yesterday that dropped, and I had texted you when this happened, James Franklin fired at Penn State. This after 3 consecutive losses, a double overtime loss to Oregon. Then they go to UCLA and get beat, maybe the hangover effect of the loss to Oregon, and then they lose at home to Northwestern, and that's a bad loss. Since the FCS and the FBS combined in 1978, Penn State becomes the first team to lose back-to-back games when being favored by 20 points or more in 2 consecutive games. So they were favored by more than 20 against UCLA. They were favored by more than 20 against Northwestern, and they were able to lose it. James Franklin, got to the semifinals a year ago with Penn State, expected to contend for the national championship this year, has not panned out. 3 straight losses, out of a job, and in a second highest payout ever in college football. Jimbo Fisher has the highest. He's walking away with more than $49 million just for getting fired. So James Franklin will not be making the trip to Iowa City this weekend as Penn State takes on Iowa. Shocking news or not shocking news?
No, not shocking news after they lost. Well, once they lose that game, I feel like it was inevitable and it was just a matter of time before they had to make that decision. Not even Travis, when I heard the news that his buyout was $50 million, I knew right away, well, that means that they'll come up with that money. They'll make a few phone calls. They'll get that $50 million because they've got that ability. This is like I said to somebody on Twitter, if you had a friend whose dad could cut them a check for $50 million whenever they want, you wouldn't let that friend bitch about the price of groceries. And that's how I feel about this college football money stuff is, I know the $50 million is an insane amount of money, and they're paying the guy not to coach. So, that's when they can make a few phone calls, and whether it's Adidas, because I've seen some of that online that, Adidas actually paid this money. Well, then that's a whole nother conversation.
That is a whole nother conversation if you've got your corporate shoe sponsor. I thought Penn State was a Nike school. I thought they had the swoosh or the jump man.
Yeah, now that you say that, I mean, again, some people had told me Adidas cut this check, and I haven't had a chance to research that. It doesn't matter to me who's paying it. They've got the money. They found the money. They were able to get $50 million to pay a guy not to coach. And by the way, they also know, as you know, Travis, part of their equation here was paying a new coach as well. They not only had to have the $50 million to get rid of the last guy, they have to have a lot more millions to pay the next guy who's probably going to want more money. And dude, this is the world that we live in as far as the guy was. You look back, 11 months ago at what Penn State was and where they were and what's happened now. This is the world we live in. It is, what have you done for me lately? Listen, Iowa State fans know this with Steve Prohm. Steve Prohm was their forever son, loyal and true, wherever they're whatever they say, until he couldn't win. And when he couldn't win, it's like, ugh, you sneak into the bushes real quietly and you go, okay, we got to get rid of this guy and bring in somebody that can win, right? Because none of that stuff applies once you start losing. You can be the man. As soon as you start losing, you're gone.
And we have to have a serious conversation. And Brad Heinrichs is coming up with us at 7:00 today because the Swarm is making some changes. They're going to Swarm 2.0. It's going to Swarm Inc. We're going to find out exactly what that means. But when it comes to expectations, we have to have a serious conversation about what the expectations are for fans and programs moving forward. Obviously, Penn State wants to win a national championship. Is it realistic to think it's not like Penn State's a bad team. It's not like Penn State has been bad under James Franklin. He's been bad against top 10 teams. He has, a 16% winning percentage against top 10 teams. Hasn't been able to win the big one, but he did get to the college football playoff semifinal a year ago, and just less than a year removed, you're out on your ass. Are teams such as Georgia, Alabama, Penn State, are they having unrealistic expectations? Because you can't get into a cycle like this. I mean, there's no guarantee the next coach is going to get you to the college football national championship. There's just no guarantee like that. Are fans becoming and donors becoming just unrealistic when it comes to the expectations?
Okay, yes, but my gut instinct right now, Travis, is that this will change because initially I want to say, when Penn State loses to Northwestern, they're going to fire their coach. Penn State, look at Iowa fans and our expectations, right? We want the Iowa Hawkeyes to be a college football playoff team from time to time. We want them to be in the conversation every year. Well, those expectations are much higher at those places that you mentioned, and really for all of the reasons we've all been brainwashed to believe they should be. They are the blue bloods. They are the teams that are in the hotbeds of all these recruiting places. So there should be higher expectations for the Georgia, Alabama, Auburn, Penn State, and those. And should is probably the wrong way. They do have better expectations, higher expectations. Now, there's also more and more parity in college football. And the NIL thing is going to only spread that parity out more and spread that talent out more. So I think, Trav, what we're going to deal with here is that for a period of time, these expectations are going to be like this. You nailed it, dude. This is what Nebraska went through. Expectations reach a tipping point, and you no longer can achieve those things, and then it's constant disappointment upon disappointment. And maybe that's where was this Penn State's Bo Pelini moment? I don't think so, but it's possible. It really is possible that the talent is Penn State still a fantastically talented team? Yes. Could they do exactly the thing that you've talked about the last few weeks? When a team loses their coach, that next week, they're a dog. They are really, really tough to beat that first week out. Yeah, this Penn State team is super talented and could absolutely come out and beat this Hawkeye team. I think the Hawkeyes win, and I'm glad that Franklin's gone. But we're going to have to wait and see how a lot of this plays out. The expectation thing over the long term, Trav, I do think that, and maybe we're talking 10 years from now, those expectations are going to have to lower for all of those teams, because none of those teams are going to be able to achieve at the rate that you're right. Their expectations right now are crazy. It's like that old thing we used to talk about in business, when you have a great year and your boss says, all right, 20% growth. We're going to do 20% growth every year. You go, whoa, 5 years, we're going to have all the money in the world? Yeah, it can't happen. It can't happen. You reach a tipping point with your expectations. I think that's very fair, man, that James Franklin, he certainly didn't reach the expectations. I'm not surprised that he got fired, but what does this mean going forward? Dude, I think a great question is who's available? Well, I understand you fire the guy now. You don't have to hire your next coach right away, but who's available?
Well, the number one name out there right now, and again, this is speculation. Everybody who thinks they're in the know, they're not really in the know. There's a lot to play through. There's a lot to get through. But the number one name out there right now is Matt Rule from Nebraska, and for good reason. Matt Rule went to Penn State. He coached at Penn State. The athletic director at Penn State hired him at Temple. They're good friends. They've talked about their friendship. So Matt Rule would be, on paper, the number one guy that would be considered for the job. We don't know if Matt Rule's interested in the job. I think you're always interested in listening because the money is there. You'd be going home. But as Nebraska learned with Scott Frost, there are no guarantees, right? Just because you went to school there doesn't mean it's going to be a good fit from a coaching standpoint and going back. And Matt Rule's got it made at Nebraska. He really, really does. He's got a fan base that's behind him. He doesn't have to win a national championship. He needs to compete for one. He needs to be in the conversation. They're 5-1. They're now in the top 25. But Matt Rule would be the big name. Another name that's been thrown out there, Ross, is Curt Cignetti from Indiana. And Curt Cignetti is going to be thrown out there for every single job that comes open because of what he's been able to do at Indiana. The fact that Indiana went to Oregon this last weekend and won shocked the hell out of me. I mean, if you would have told me Indiana was going to go to Oregon and win, I would have been like, you're crazy. Curt Cignetti is going to be out there. And I think another name that has already been floated is Matt Campbell. And Matt Campbell, and for good reason. Matt Campbell all he's done at Iowa State is build a program and be consistent over time. Even though they've lost 2 in a row, they've lost to Cincinnati, they've lost to Colorado. So I think Matt Campbell's name. So there's names that are out there, but when you throw names out there just immediately after a guy's fired, that you're just throwing darts and seeing where it sticks, right? And what you have to consider, and let me pontificate here, you just have to pay $50 million for a guy to go away. If you're going to go get a Matt Rule, if you're going to go get a Curt Cignetti, guess what? There's buyouts on that end too, and those aren't cheap. I mean, you only have. I agree with you that money isn't a problem for Penn State, but there does reach a tipping point where you're like, yeah, I don't know if we can afford to buy this guy out, pay another guy off, and then pay $10, $12 million a year just to have this guy be our coach. So there's a lot of factors that go into this.
Yes, there are, Travis. The buyout for one of those next coaches is another thing that's a huge chunk of change, especially a Rule or Cignetti. The guys how long has Rule been in Nebraska now? He's been there. This
is year number 3. I think I think I saw today that his buyout is like $50 million. I mean, so are you going to spend $100 million overall just to fire a coach and hire a coach and then do 10? I mean, that I don't care. You could be the most stacked athletic program around. That's a lot of money. And you go, are you better off going to get a Manny Diaz at Duke? Or you go better off going to get a Dan Mullen at UNLV where it's a little more palatable, but are you settling at that point?
We should look at some other names too, Trav. I mean, if you're at Penn State, why not make a call to an old retired ball coach? Why not make a call to you got $50 million that you're going to have to spend to get Matt Rule away from his job. And Curt Cignetti, I don't imagine his is going to be that much, even though he's only been in Indiana a few years. I'm guessing that his contract didn't have that big of a buyout.
Well, they renegotiated after last year. So let me go to the Google machine and see what his buyout is real quick.
So while you're looking that up, Trav, is it possible that you reach out to an Urban Meyer? Is it possible that I'm trying to think of another coach who has either just walked away from a team. There really aren't a lot of guys out there. I mean, if you call Nick Saban, you've got $50 million that you're going to have to pay before you sign a contract if Matt Rule is your guy. That's a lot of money. And if you can save that money and throw it at a different cat, do you do that?
Maybe, but do you want Nick Saban's only going to give you what?
Yeah,
3-4 years.
Urban Meyer, probably the same thing, right? You're not going to get a lot of time out of those guys, but I'm wondering what. You're right with Manny Diaz. What did you find Cignetti's buyout?
Cignetti's is $56.7 million. Matt Rule's is right around $49 million. I mean, those are huge buyouts that become where you go, oh, man, we can afford to fire a guy. We can't afford to hire a guy.
Trav, when does the bubble burst on that? When does the bubble burst on coaching buyouts? So you can go and get the star player from a team, but to get the coach, it's $50 million? Dang.
That's and I think the bubble is going to burst soon. And I know why universities do it, but we've talked about this a lot. These massive buyouts, sure, the university looks at it and says, hey, they protect us. Coaches says it protects me. At the end of the day, if you get fired, you get fired because you're not performing, right? And you shouldn't get paid. I'm not opposed to a severance. I'm not opposed to like $3-4 million offloading. That's a lot of money. But when you're looking at $50 million, when you're looking at Jimbo Fisher, who got like $75 million, For what? For losing? For not doing your job? For not living up to those expectations? It's bad fiscal responsibility on a university's part. So what if you lose somebody? I would rather have you make a lot of. I would feel better if you're paying a coach $12, $13, $14, $15 million a year, but your buyout's $2 million. Because if you're paying him $15 million a year, which is going to be the going rate here pretty soon, you're one of the highest in college football. Don't hamstring yourself and a university and an athletic department by saying, "Oh, we got to come up with $50 million. We got to come up with $56 million." I mean,
because the guy sucks at his job.
Yeah,
and that's hard. That's hard. James Franklin doesn't suck at his job. That's no, me being a jerk.
He's gonna be a sought after coach. If James Franklin wants to coach next year, he will be a coach next year.
Yes.
I mean, Kirby Smart's buyout, Ross, is $105 million. $105 million. Georgia can't get rid of Kirby Smart. Not that they want to get rid of Kirby Smart. They don't. I mean, the guy
did you
wins.
See his timeout over the weekend, Trav?
I did not.
Oh, dude, it's classic. He's out of timeouts late in the game, racing down the sideline. The camera sees him calling timeout, screaming at the official. Classic thing of running from the 40-yard line to the 20-yard line. Timeout, and you see him hitting the tee. Timeout. The official blows the play dead. And then Kirby Smart says, "No, I was clapping my hands. I wasn't calling timeout. Why did you give me a timeout? I don't have any timeouts left. I was clapping my hands." Camera clearly shows him, Travis, calling the timeout as he's racing to the officials. And then he's like, and basically got a free timeout out of it. And the officials went back and said, "Yeah, we screwed up. He didn't call timeout."
Wow. Smart play on his part. I mean, you play the gamesmanship.
Brilliant.
Let me ask you this: Is Penn State, when you look at Penn State, do you consider Penn State a blue blood program?
Yes.
When you put it in the Big Ten, is it the third best job? Ohio State number 1, Michigan number 2, Penn State number 3?
I think that, Travis, if you asked 10 people, you might get 4 answers. I think you could make an argument. Penn State fans might argue it's the second best job. You could say it's third, fourth, or fifth, depending on if you put Michigan, Oregon.
Oh, yeah.
Is USC... I mean, in that range, Trav, it's certainly in that top 4 or 5 without a doubt. And I think that you can make the argument. I mean, again, Penn State fans would probably say that it's a better job than Michigan right now. I think that it's in that conversation, though. Fantastic job. You can absolutely win tomorrow at Penn State. When you say blue blood, man, you think of like some of the greatest college football players of all time wore Penn State jerseys. Some of the greatest football players we've seen lately, and not even college football. Saquon Barkley,
Micah Parsons,
LeVar Arrington. LeVar Arrington.
Yeah,
he was such a badass. They've had Penn State, I think, absolutely fits into that blue blood category and in that conversation of best jobs in the Big Ten.
Yeah, this would be interesting. I mean, I feel sorry for – I don't feel sorry because they're making a lot of money, but, it's not fair that Matt Rule is going to have to answer questions, and probably Matt Campbell as well, about going forward. Hey, are you interested in the Penn State job? Your name's being thrown out there when you've got more football to coach. And does that become a distraction? And Matt Campbell is named every single year for jobs. Now, this is one you leave Iowa State for. There's not many jobs you leave Iowa State for, because we've talked about how the parity has evened things out, but you're going to have a stronger financial situation. You're probably going to have a lot stronger NIL situation. And Matt Campbell has to ask himself, especially after losing to Colorado over the weekend, has he taken Iowa State as far as he can get it? What are Iowa State's what are the limits of Iowa State? And there are limits. I would love him to stay.
There are. Long term, can you change those limits? Yes. Can the right guy come in and change the perception of the university? You're absolutely right, Trav. There are limits to both Iowa and Iowa State right now. has Matt Campbell reached that limit with Iowa State? Boy, he's pressing the boundaries, isn't he?
Yes.
I mean, dude, until 2 weeks ago, we're like, this team's going to be a college football playoff team. And we're having the conversations of like, this is them perennially now. Every year they're in a position where they can be in that conversation. You're never going to talk, never. Right now, you would not talk about Iowa State in that conversation that we just had with Penn State. Are they one of the best jobs in the nation? Are they one of the best jobs amongst all? Are they a blue blood? Absolutely no Iowa State fan would even try to make that claim. But is it a good job? Is it a place that you can win? Is it a place that you can get to the college football playoff? And is it a place that it's easier to get to the college football playoff than Iowa? Those are all good conversations that I think take some debate and some thought. Is Penn State a better job? That takes no debate, no thought. Yes, yeah. It's a much better job with much higher ceiling in it. Can the right person come in here and continue to press that ceiling up for Iowa State? Yeah. I mean, listen, I think because Iowa State fans will hear this and think that it's too snotty Hawkeye fans. Kirk Ferentz has taken Iowa to the mountaintop that they can get to. Kirk Ferentz has already been to the highest point that that he can take Iowa football. And this is why every week on the Black and Gold Rush, we have people call in and say, love Kirk Ferentz, love what he's done for the program. It's time for a change. I want to see if a new guy can come in here and take this thing to another level. Iowa State fans don't feel that way. I've not seen one Iowa State fan that feels that way about Matt Campbell. I haven't seen one Iowa State fan that's like, oh, we lost to Colorado, get his ass out of here. But I do think that's a fair statement of, is Matt Campbell looking around going, I've done everything I can here. I've brought in all the talent I can. I've had a slew of great quarterbacks that I have recruited to come here to Ames, Iowa, and win football games. But this is my limit. I'd love to know what people think about that, because I think it's a fair conversation.
Quick reminder that in Iowa, we grow corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Corn grows feed for our livestock, food for our families, and clean burning fuel. For your drive to the game or anywhere across the state of Iowa, drive clean with unleaded 88 and support Iowa corn farmers. Go to iowacorn.org to pump it up with unleaded 88. Coming up at 7 o'clock, Brad Heinrichs, CEO of the Swarm Inc. Swarm Inc., that's what it's called now. Will be joining us to talk about the changes in the Swarm. It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vent, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
There's more Iowa in the Iowa Tap Room than you may realize. Housed in a building nearly as old as Iowa itself, the Iowa Tap Room greets you with a harvest of 120 Iowa craft beers on tap from all corners of the state. And the food doesn't get much more Iowa than this. The Iowa Tap Room, all Iowa beer, one amazing place.
There's always something new at Fong's Pizza. The patio is open and ready for you, your friends, and an ever-changing menu of tiki drinks. Or try our new noodle dishes alongside your favorite slice. It's all happening this summer at the new Fong's in the East Village.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know. High-quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Cheaper, cleaner, and homegrown. Pump it up with unleaded 88.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
This is Darcy at Willis Chevrolet. When's the last time that you got new tires? From now till the end of November, we are offering buy 3 tires, get 1 for $1. Our extreme savings. Also, if you sign up for a GM credit card, you can get another $250 off the price of the 4 tires. So it's a win-win. Give us a call today, and we can price you a set of 4, or visit us online to set up an appointment at willischevy.com.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Happy Monday, everybody. Don't forget Central City Liquors at 1460 2nd Avenue, Des Moines, your place for all the best beer, wine, spirits, mixers, liquor, you name it. And don't forget to try out the new Central City Barrel Picks. Penelope, one of the hottest brands in bourbon right now. Plus the Penelope Project X straight bourbon whiskey finished in a maple brulee cask, just $62. Make sure to get it while it lasts. Central City Liquors, 1460 2nd Avenue in Des Moines. Ross Peterson is in Ireland. He disconnected. He's going to try to get back with us. 515-517-2303 is the number to call if you want to participate and let your voice be heard. I highly encourage it, because if not, it's just going to be you talking to me or me talking to you. And, dialogue is always good. We were talking about, the buyout of James Franklin at close to $50 million. $50 million. That's a hell of a lot of money. Ross and I probably disagree on this aspect of it, and that is, the money's just flowing with these Power 4 schools and these teams in the SEC and the Big Ten. That coming up with this money is really not that big of a problem. I think it is. He's right for a select few. He's not right for all, and I think a really good example of that is Wisconsin. Wisconsin now has to be sitting back and going, okay, what at least Wisconsin fans are going, what's going on? Penn State comes up with $50 million to fire a coach who has won games but has lost 3 in a row, but was in the college football semifinals a year ago. Wisconsin was shut out by Iowa this past weekend. The Hawks look good. They really look good. Dominated on defense, forced 3 turnovers. Wisconsin, it was shocking. And if you watch the Black and Gold Rush with myself and Tyler Kluver after the game, we talked about Wisconsin and how far it has fallen. It is a shell of itself. Wisconsin, folks, is a really, really bad team. I am dead serious. I mean, it was just absolutely shocking to me on how bad Wisconsin was. And the stadium had emptied out. The Fire Fickle chants were coming. And for for good reason. I mean, they're not a good football team. And Luke Fickell lives to see another day at Wisconsin. Ross, we were talking about how the money situation, right? And that we think that all these Power 4 schools have unlimited cash to make this. Maybe, but I think it's a select few. I think if you're a Penn State, you can come up with the money. If you're Ohio State, you can come up with the money. But let's look at Wisconsin. I don't know if you got a chance to watch the game over the weekend, but Wisconsin is a freaking bad football team. I mean, it's bad. Did I lose you? Oh, Ross is he's frozen in time, should we say. Are you there, bud? I hear you walking. You hear him walking? Listen to Ross's footsteps. You can hear him walk. He can't hear me, but I can hear him. And Wisconsin is just, it's fallen so far. This reminds me a lot of Nebraska in 2004 when they fired Frank Solich. And they made the change, got away from the system that is was and the culture, should we say, that was formed under Tom Osborne. Frank Solich had gotten to the national championship game in 2001, had some downfalls, had a losing season, came back and replaced some coordinators, replaced some assistant coaches, won games, but they still got rid of him. I don't know how Luke Fickell continues to survive. I really, really don't. I mean, it is such an atrocity of how bad this Wisconsin football team is. And if you're an Iowa fan, you're like, why are you talking about this? And why does it matter that Wisconsin's bad? You might like it that Wisconsin's bad. Tyler Kluver and I were talking about it on the Black and Gold Rush of how it's not good that Wisconsin is bad. In fact, we like it when, at least we do, you may not, but we like it when Wisconsin is good. We like it when Nebraska is good. We like it when your rivals are good. And Wisconsin right now is just a really, really bad football team that is going nowhere. I don't see a path forward for Wisconsin under Luke Fickell. I don't see how the culture is going to get better, and their schedule going forward is just as bad. If you think the Iowa game was an embarrassment, just look at their schedule. I mean, they may not win another game the rest of the season. And sure, $25 million is a lot of money. Does Wisconsin not have $25 million to buy out Luke Fickell? Or do you have an athletic director that's going to fall on his sword because this is his pick? You're bullheaded. You hired this guy, and this is your pick when it comes to, and you're gonna ride or die with him. It's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing for Wisconsin, and I don't know how they come out of this, because again, it gets a lot tougher going forward, and it's bad. It's really, really bad. So if you think the money's just flowing, evidently it's not, or the AD at Wisconsin knows something that we don't, that change is actually going to happen, but it's not going to happen this year. And Luke Fickell would definitely, if he survives the year, which I mean, Urban Meyer has said there's zero chance that Luke Fickell loses his job this year. You're going to have fan apathy set in. Fans are going to be just why buy season tickets? Why go watch something that we don't want to watch? And it was just really, really embarrassing for Wisconsin. And good win for the Hawks, though. A very, very good win for the Hawks. 37-0, forced 3 turnovers. Mark Gronowski was serviceable. And I'm thinking, I thought he looked really good. Tyler Kluver brought me down to life during the Black and Gold rush on Saturday night, and pointed out some of the flaws, maybe his inability to be the effective runner that we've seen him in the past. But I thought he looked good, but then you kind of evaluate it. You go back and watch. You go, okay, he wasn't maybe as mobile as we've seen him, but he got the job done. If any criticism, and Tyler brought this up, is why did they even play him in the fourth quarter? Why even risk even more injury to Mark Gronowski? It didn't happen. But that was maybe one of the things you could have pulled him quick. Dude from Iowa brings up a very good point. He goes, "I'm surprised how physical he is on defense." And I assume you're talking about Xavier Wampa. He was laying the wood. I mean, he was coming hard. He was laying big hits. In fact, it was a physical game. I thought Iowa's defense was maybe one of the most physical we've seen all year long. And in that win, it's not going to get easier for Iowa, but this is one to think about now for how they played against Indiana, who went to Oregon and won. It is now the number 3 team in the country. Iowa, now ifs and buts are candy and nuts, but Iowa could and maybe should have beaten Indiana. So when you look at the schedule going forward, which is not easy, but it's manageable, and there are games that are winnable, is Iowa, can they climb themselves into a playoff contention? It's worth considering. And my buddy Dr. Rob Zadiska, texted me in the middle of the Wisconsin game and said, that Nebraska-Iowa game might come down to who goes 10-2 and gets a final spot in the college football playoff. Now, that's putting the cart way before the horse, but even with 2 losses so far, there's a lot of possibility for this Iowa football team. Is he back? What's
up,
buddy?
Baby. Dude, they
You're
shut
back.
the Wi-Fi off.
Are you
Oh
serious?
my God. Yeah. Yeah, they don't want me here.
Really?
The old Irish hospitality.
Wow. I would have never thought that. Do you think it's, if you would have asked for permission, I know you were in a hurry, but do you think if you would have asked for permission first?
So here's the deal, man. We did. We thought we had permission because we had spoken with the folks that set up this entire Camino. In fact, the Anya was planning on maybe joining me here to chat with you about how she got this all registered as an actual Camino. And they were the ones that told me to get here because we could sit at this cafe and do this overlooking this beautiful garden. And I was like, oh, this is going to be great. So yeah, and maybe if I would have gotten here a few minutes earlier and been able to actually talk to them, but I don't think so. Because they told me we had to be registered with the OPW. And because we weren't registered with the OPW, that I don't even know what that is.
I was going to say, what is the OPW?
I don't know.
You down with OPW? You down with OPW?
I'm not down with OPW, and OPW is not down with me, apparently. So,
wow,
is what it is. Got me a mocha, and we're using using another phone to hotspot onto this. So we're doing good.
Wow. So did you go back in and say, hey, you shut the Wi-Fi off? Can you turn it back on? They're like, no, sir, no.
And when I said, is there Wi-Fi? And they said, yeah, it's free to people and it's open. I was like, oh, it's not available. And they're like, yeah, we know. Like, oh, thanks.
Wow.
So I was on with you before. I was on with you when you were talking about Wisconsin and Luke Fickell, and if I'd watched the game this weekend, man, they were bad. Hawkeyes looked fantastic. I haven't got to see the entire game yet. I do have it recorded, but I've seen lots of highlights and stuff that people were posting. So I feel like I got a general sense for that was a dominant performance. What we had hoped we would see. Remember last week when we said, man, watching Wisconsin just get beat up and steamrolled by Michigan, you watched that and said, this Hawkeye team can have success against this. That offensive line can push these guys around. And everything I saw looked like that, Trav. So that's my takeaway from the Hawkeye game was, damn, that looked fun.
Well, I want to bring you back in, and I'm going to go back to where we started this segment, and that is with James Franklin getting fired. The fact that Luke Fickell has a job today is really, really shocking to me, Ross. And we think that money is pouring in from everywhere, but I think it shows maybe the disparity when it comes to Wisconsin might be going, we don't have $25 million to throw at a coach and then go get another coach because you'd probably have to buy somebody out. You'd have to give a pretty decent salary. So it's not like all things are created equal. Even if you're in the Big Ten, there's a difference, and $25 million to Wisconsin right now appears to be a lot of money that they're not willing to part with, because in any other situation, Luke Fickell is fired. In any other situation, I mean, when your head coach gets up there after the game and said, this is as low as it is. I mean, he openly admitted this is as low as it's been. That's saying something, man. You're saying, essentially, I've done a bad job. The locker room's gone. This team's not playing for me. We're a bad football team, and they are a bad football team. I don't know how he has a job today.
Trav, you've always done a good job of knowing the playbook of a guy getting fired. And play number one is the dreaded vote of confidence, right?
Oh, yeah.
Play number two is the coach looks defeated. Play number three is the guy gets fired. You're right. We've seen play one. We've seen play two. Why are we waiting on play three? Is it... Man, the money thing. They're a Big Ten team that gets $100 million a year from television rights alone. I don't know. I maybe it is the money thing. If there's that much disparity between Penn State and Wisconsin, where one of them has 50, maybe $100 million just to buy out coaches' contracts and then start to negotiate, and one of them is gonna balk at $25 million as a buyout. I don't know. Maybe that is the case, Trav. Maybe there is that much disparity in the money. You know, I constantly keep thinking about the teams that have shown their cards on this money thing. Who was it? Memphis that wanted to pay a couple $100 million to join
million to get into the Big 12. They were like, please take us. Now, you got FedEx money down there. You've got a lot of money in FedEx. So you've got and some other players.
And Delta and some other big major players down there. But and Madison, Wisconsin is not known for, they don't have a Warren Buffett. They don't have a T. Boone Pickens. But there's money in Madison, and there's money around Wisconsin football. Not just Big Ten money. They've got donor money. They've got alumni money. So, what is your gut telling you that it's money right now that's preventing them from firing Luke Fickell?
I don't know what else it would be. I really don't. And maybe his buyout goes lower when the season is over. You say, hey, let's save ourselves a couple $1 million. But it can. I don't see where it gets any better, Ross. I mean, it's Iowa is not even a top 25 team, right?
And blew them out.
And blew them out. Let me get to Wisconsin's schedule because it's not pretty. And what they have ahead of them, I don't know how they win another football game. I really don't. And that's what's even crazier is that fan apathy is definitely going to set in. Up next, so this week they have Ohio State, followed by Oregon, followed by Washington, followed by Indiana, followed by Illinois, followed by Minnesota. Seriously,
what's their record right now, Trav?
What are they? They beat Miami of Ohio. They beat Middle Tennessee State, and they've lost 4 in a row. So they're 2-4. They're 2-4.
They're going to end the season at best 3-9.
But at best, because they're not beating Ohio State. That's not going to happen.
They might beat Minnesota. They might beat Washington. Indiana's going to destroy them, dude. Signetti is angry. Ohio State could play their third stringers and beat him, it looks like.
Yeah, the only two, and Minnesota is going to be on the road. I don't look at that as a winnable game. And plus, that's the last game of the year. Let's say you've lost every game since this going into that. You're going to have a team that's defeated.
Travis, you said fan apathy. Dude, has fan apathy already set in Wisconsin football?
Absolutely. Yeah. They all after jump around, They all left the other day. I mean, they were clearing out of the stadium already, but they did jump around because that's like, oh, let's do jump around and get the hell out of here and start drinking some old fashions.
When the highlight of your day is a 90s hip hop song, dang.
I mean, it wasn't even sold out the other day. You had a lot of empty seats at Camp Randall. And Tyler Kluver and I talked about this, and I'm bringing this back up because you weren't here for this conversation when I was going off on it. It's not good. If you're an Iowa fan, and Tyler went into it with me, I said, hey, you're happy you got the shutout. You're happy you beat the crap out of them, but you want Wisconsin to be good. You want Nebraska to be good. You want the teams that you traditionally go up against that are natural rivals to be good. It's not good for Iowa that Wisconsin is a really bad football team. Sure, you can make fun of them, but deep down, you want them to be good.
You want to beat good teams. That's how you're not the fake ID of college football. That's how you get national respect. And as we've learned, the brand is not the thing. Beating Wisconsin in 2025 doesn't mean what beating Wisconsin these last 30 years had meant. That's a great point, Trav. It's not that you need your rivals. Yeah, you do. That is the right way to say it. You do need your rivals to be nationally relevant, because beating up on the Sisters of the Poor does nothing for you. Beating up on this Wisconsin team does nothing to improve Iowa's standing in the country. And that's a great point by Tyler. You know, that like we always say those things of the NBA is best when the Lakers are good, or baseball is best when the Yankees are good. In professional sports, it's way different because you don't have to have this strength of schedule thing. But I do think that there's some truth to what Tyler's saying there. That and again to the professional sports model, it feels better to beat better teams.
Yes,
it feels better when you beat a team and you go, oh, that's one of the best teams in the world. That's one of the best teams at the level that we're competing at, and we're better than them. Yes, as long as does Iowa need Wisconsin? Iowa needs teams in the Big Ten and teams on their schedule to be really good. You have to. Otherwise, you won't get the national respect. You'll be the fake ID. You'll piss off fans. Even in great seasons, fans will be upset about it. You've got to have a good strength of schedule. So, yeah, fair.
Yeah, I mean, after beating Wisconsin the way they did, I'm like, okay, great win. You've won 4 in a row. You've won 5 of the last 6 against the Badgers. You're dominating that series. That's great. But you kind of get done with it and you go, and you see how bad they are. They go, boy, that's like beating UMass. That's like, it doesn't give you a sense of satisfaction. You get that immediate rush. Yeah, but then you sit back and go, God, they were bad. It's not going to move the needle for anybody.
So, Trav, Penn State is the talent on that team is not as bad as what the product has been these last couple of weeks. Fair?
That's fair. Now, Drew Aller the quarterback is out for the remainder of the season, so that's a big hit for Penn State. You got a freshman quarterback coming in as a backup, so we don't know what that's going to be like. But I think it is fair to say, well, I don't know, Ross. Penn State beat up on a bunch of patsies going in.
That's true.
And that's why, remember when they got beat by Oregon in double overtime, Brent Bloom is like, what has Penn State done to deserve to be in the top 10? And we're like, well, you lost to Oregon in double overtime. That's a good loss. But then when you lose to UCLA, you lose to Northwestern, that really starts to stay home going, okay, do you have the talent that everybody thought?
So the reason I brought that up was because I wanted to ask about Wisconsin.
Okay.
Is Wisconsin a better team on paper than what they've shown on the record?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't believe so.
I love it. That was quick.
Yeah. You can't make the argument. You just can't.
All right.
I mean, look at the teams.
I mean, Penn State, I could try with Penn State because they still have some guys left over from a team last year that was so good and beat, so I can look at that and try to make that. Wisconsin has not been Wisconsin. So
yeah, I mean, your wins are against Miami of Ohio 17-0 and Middle Tennessee State 42-10. Otherwise, you lost Alabama 38-14. You lost to Maryland at home 27-10. You lost to Michigan 24-10, where statistically you got the shit kicked out of you, and then you really got blown out by Iowa 37-0. I mean, it's not like you were even competitive in your big games, and they're not going to be competitive against Ohio State. Then they have to go to Oregon when they're not going to be competitive. You're right. They get Washington at home, but Washington's not a bad team. And now, and the sad thing is, even though Iowa wins, and I make the argument, well, if Iowa wins out, they're going to go into that Nebraska game. If Nebraska wins out, they could be playing for a college football playoff. I don't know if we know how good Iowa is just from its wins.
You know, I think that it's fair to say Iowa's a good football team after the way that they've beat the teams that they've beat. You're supposed to beat an inferior team 38-0.
Yes, 37.
You're supposed to beat, those bad teams that you played in the non-con the way that they did. The games that they've lost, they were close. Iowa State's a good football team. Losing to Colorado sucks. I'm sure we're going to talk about that, but Iowa State's still a good football team. Indiana's a good football team. And Iowa was in both of those games.
True.
So I think that it's fair to say, you can look at the body of work right now and say this Iowa football team is a good football team. They're not great. They're definitely above average and good.
I think one thing we know, because we've just become accustomed to it, you look at Indiana, they're going to be in games, right? They're going to keep it close. That's what they're going to give themselves a chance to win. That's great, but it's frustrating at the same time because you're like, oh, you're so close. Just put the hammer on somebody. But we'll find out this weekend against Penn State. 515-517-2303. We are scheduled to be joined by Brad Heinrichs from the Swarm Collective right around 7 o'clock. But a quick reminder, if you're looking for a new or used vehicle, make sure to go to Willis Automotive. They've got a wide selection, some of the best brands out there, whether you're looking for a luxury car, whether you're looking for a regular car that fits your needs. And be like me. I am now a Willis buyer. I have a Willis Automotive car in my driveway. Well, it's not my driveway now because my wife has the car, but you will not be disappointed with your Willis Automotive vehicle. So go to willisautomotive.com for more. When we come back, Brad Heinrichs joins us on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
You've got enough on your plate, so when it's time to reset, grab a Fresca. Bold citrus, zero sugar, zero caffeine. Just clean, crisp refreshment that never goes out of style, whether it's post-work, post-gym, or just a break from the noise. Fresca's got your back. Pick up a Fresca at your local retailer today.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vent, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
Trick or treat, candy to eat, get your car some brand new feet. Until the end of October, you can buy 3 tires and get 1 for $1. And we're also still doing our $25 off battery install. Scary good deals. All those treats, and you don't even need to show up with a joke. Give us a call or head online to willisinfinity.com.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Pump it up with Unleaded 88.
Largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbox to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Hour number 2 of the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Thanks for tuning us in this morning. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com and the Rush Radio Android app or the TuneIn app, thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube this morning, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and leave your comments in the comment section. And you can follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram. Ross Peterson continues to be live in the Emerald Isle of Ireland, overlooking a beautiful garden. Beautiful garden. And he's making do today because he didn't ask for permission and got kicked off the Wi-Fi, and he's running off cellular data right now, which is going to cost him an arm and a leg.
Yeah. It's all right.
Yeah.
We're at Old Bridge Estate. So
Old Bridge Estate. He's not going to give it a 4-star review, I don't think.
It's been lovely, but yeah. So hey, Trav, here's the deal. When you're on with Brad, I'll shut off and I'll join you when you're done with Brad. Okay?
You want to do that?
Yes, that would help me out a lot.
Okay. So, speaking of Brad Heinrichs, we're going to bring Brad Heinrichs in right now. He's in Ireland. He's hit all sorts of snags this morning, Brad. He just started doing his radio show, and they shut the Wi-Fi off on him because he didn't ask for permission.
Wow.
I know. I'm an ask for forgiveness, not permission guy. Now, as a boss, do you like guys like that, or do you like guys that ask for permission?
I actually prefer the permission piece, but I can understand if I was Ross, I'd probably do the same thing.
Yeah. Where are you at, man? You got a fish behind you?
I'm in Charlottesville, Virginia. My kids, I obviously didn't raise them right. I was a Hawkeye, and their mom was a Husker, and my kids said, "Your schools suck. We're going to University of Virginia." So I'm here. This is a federal holiday, in case you didn't know.
Columbus Day.
Yeah, Columbus. Well, I don't know if it's called that anymore.
President Trump says it is, so it's Columbus Day.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Well, there you go.
I did not know your wife was a Husker. Is she from Nebraska?
No, Kansas City, but she's a Husker, and I hate talking about it. So,
how'd you guys meet?
At an actuarial internship in college.
A nerd convention?
Yes. She was talking about mortality, and it just turned me on.
Who's smarter? Is she smarter than you, or are you smarter than her?
Oh, she's way smarter than me. Just ask her.
Is she in the business at all, or is she just like a mom now?
She's in the business a little bit. Yeah. So, what can you do?
You had you and I have talked, and right after the big change, July 1st, we said, hey, what's the future of the Swarm? It's been kind of quiet. Then last week you come out with, hey, Swarm 2.0 is coming. So, and it's going to Swarm Inc. I guess. So everybody knows, like at Iowa State, the We Will Collective is going to go away. It's being assimilated by the university, and they're going to do it all in-house. What is Swarm 2.0?
We are not going in-house. We are staying independent. It's our view that the $20.5 million that schools can spend to pay for student athletes now, it's our view that that's not going to be sufficient. I know that sounds crazy, but it's the reality. And so we're going to be the additional compensation that hopefully gives us a competitive advantage on the field and on the court.
So are you saying that some people feel that, well, the payment's going to be the $20.5 million and that's all they have to pay out? Because there are other NIL deals where you can make additional compensation, right?
That's right. That's right. And we're going to be focused on creating those. So we're going to be out there, whether it's creating our own events and splitting the revenue with the student athletes, or whether it's looking for corporations and other entities to try to partner with our student athletes. We're going to try to get them stuff over and above what the university's paying them.
So was there a lot of back and forth with Beth Getz and the university? Did they want this? Did they want you to go away? Take us through everything that has happened over the last couple of months to get to where we are now.
Yeah, so Beth and I keep in fairly close contact. This was my idea as far as, how we can, I'm always looking for ways to help, right? And so I proposed this idea to Beth. She thought it was a really good one. She stands behind it. So, it's similar to what some other places are doing, maybe like Florida State and others, where, we're trying to, the key now is that you can't exist purely to pay student athletes anymore. So the whole doing stuff for charity anymore. Whereas we would collect money from Hawkeye fans, and then we would go pay the student athletes to go do charity work. Right? We existed to help charities and pay student athletes. Right?
Yeah.
Now what they're saying, the College Sports Commission is saying, you've got to be a for-profit entity, and the student athletes need to be helping for-profit entities do something that helps them make profit. Right? Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to create events that they're going to help us make revenue selling tickets for, and then we're going to share the profit with them. Now, I own the company, so whatever profits we make, I'm going to donate back to the university. So we're ultimately not going to be making a profit. I will, but I'm just going to donate it back as a charitable gift to the athletic department.
So you want to make that basically tax neutral, right? The last thing you want is to have to pay a federal income tax on something that you're like,
correct.
I'm just giving money here, right?
Yeah. Yes. So yes, you're right. But yeah. So now the people who are giving us money, they're still going to get swag. They're still going to get that kind of thing. But instead of it just going into a pot to pay 200 student athletes, we're going to be focusing on the elite student athletes, the ones that you're seeing that are prominent on the screen when you're watching. There may only be 10 or 15 total. We're going to be paying those people, helping with the portal, that kind of thing. It's going to be a more narrowed focus than what it was before.
Doesn't that make more sense? Because I mean, you got the $20.5 million to pay everybody else, maybe not a star. But
that's right.
You are going to need additional income to bring in a quarterback, to bring in a running back, to bring in somebody that's big.
That's right. And so we're going to be that avenue. So when the portal time comes, hopefully we'll have a war chest here, and we can help Kirk Ferris, Tyler Barnes, Ben McCollum, Jan Jensen, whoever, to try to bring in whoever that they need, to help supplement their roster.
Do you think people who are giving you $25, $50, $100, $200 a month, are they worried? Have you heard any pushback about going to a for-profit entity? They're like, well, hold on, this changes things now.
Yeah.
And do they get so they probably don't get a write-off for this anymore, right?
We've only had about a dozen cancellations since the announcement, and most of them said, hey, I wanted a write-off or something. But most people I know that give a couple $100, they're giving it because of the Hawkeyes. They're not giving it because they feel like they want a write-off. But it was a nice perk while it lasted. So anyway, yeah, we've had very few cancellations at this point.
When you talk events, the people may be, so will you be doing bowl trips? Will you take over the Hawkeye huddle? What kind of events are you talking about?
Could be a lot of different things. Help with it, and you mentioned a couple. My idea is to have a men's and women's basketball kind of skills challenge exhibition in the summer. So say we rent out like the Extreme Arena, for example, and sell tickets, obviously, and Swarm members will get tickets as part of their donation or their payments to us. You know, and the men and the women kind of scrimmage together, have a little, 3-point show, 3-point contests, and skills challenges and stuff like that. Sort of a meet the new Hawkeyes kind of thing. And I think people would really get excited about that from a basketball perspective. And then we'll probably do some cool stuff with the football team, out of season, maybe in the spring as well.
Now, because I'm an idea guy, and I don't know how your coaches would be interested in this, but do you see maybe exclusive events to like, hey, a 3-day fishing trip with, I don't know if Kirk Ferentz fishes or not, but like really, really exclusive to where you're going to get 3 days with Coach or even Ben McCollum, to where, I mean, that's a high dollar event, but it's a premium event. Would coaches be up for that?
Yeah. I think so. I'm not sure about the fishing part. But it depends on the coach, right? I don't know enough about Ben yet to know whether exactly where his limits are. But I know Coach Ferentz pretty well, and contrary to what a lot of people think, he's really on board with this, and he's going to do whatever it takes. And he's one of those guys that, man, he's fun to hang out with. I'm not going to lie. I really enjoy hanging out with him.
I can see that. It's like you have the public persona in front of the camera, very, very dry, cerebral, put aside. But he looks like a guy that if you got a drink in him and you're away from the cameras, a completely different personality.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's completely different, but he's very engaging. And his memory is so good. So, it'll be weird. He'll be sitting there. He'll be telling me some story about back when he was at Pittsburgh in whatever 1980 or 79 or something like that, and and he'll talk about how Marino and Tony Dorsett did this, and he said something to the it was just some wild. He'll be telling these stories about guys that I grew up sort of idolizing, and he coached them in college, and anyway, just he's got really good stories. I don't imagine he's probably as good a storyteller as Hayden Fry was, but he's really, really good, and somebody that's you really don't even want to talk much. You just want to listen to him.
So going back to not being part of the university, not getting assimilated within the university structure, have you run into any problems with Deloitte yet? I think that's I need to start there. Have you hit any problems with Deloitte?
Yes.
Really?
Imagine if you put out your trash and they waited like 3 months to get it, and all you did was continue to accumulate trash, and you just wonder, are they ever gonna pick up the trash? That's what it's like to work with those guys. I mean, we imagine. So we had so July 1 is when we had to start. For everybody listening, on July 1, every time we had an NIL deal, it has to be approved through a clearinghouse. And that's who Deloitte is. Deloitte's an accounting firm that their job was to analyze the deals and make sure that they're legit and that the player is getting fair market value. All right. So say we have a deal, and this has happened, where some company wants a student athlete to come and sign autographs for 2 hours, and they're going to pay him $1,500, all right, something like that. And so we create the deal. Student athlete says yes, signs the deal. Corporation signs the deal. We send it to the NIL Go people 2 weeks before the event. Well, the event comes. The NIL Go has not approved the deal yet. Student athlete has to decide, do I go to this or not? They show up, do their thing. Everything's great. Then they say, well, can I get paid? Well, the answer is no, I can't pay you until the deal's approved. Because if I pay them and they don't approve the deal, then the kid could be ineligible for getting impermissible benefits. So that happens like July 15th. And then here we are, September 30th, and the deal still hasn't been approved. And then the student athlete gets another deal, something similar. What are you going to do if you're that student athlete now?
You're not going to take the deal. You're not going to take the deal. And it also makes, whether that's fair or not, it makes you look bad because you're like, Brad's not paying me, right?
Right,
I mean,
right,
he's like,
right. Yeah, exactly. And so then you're trying to talk the student athlete to say, oh, well, I think you're going to get paid before. But most of them are kind of like, hey, man, it's been 2 months and I haven't been paid. I'm not sure I'm interested in that. So they have been colossally slow. The ones that we submitted in mid to early July finally got approved in like the first week of October. That's where we are. It's a complete train wreck. I'm told that for all the NI deals out there, I think they only have 2, maybe 3 people that are looking at these things. I mean, for all of Division One, I mean, what are we doing here?
Is there a hotline you can call? Do they give you 1-800-NIL info? Or I mean, is there a hotline you can call and say, what are you doing?
No, we get crickets. We don't even get the phone tree to talk to somebody in India. No, we don't get that either. I mean, it's literally crickets. So it's been a source of frustration for all for all schools out there. So I'm hoping that they staff it up or do something because it's been painful.
You haven't had one turned down yet, have you?
No, we haven't had them turned down. We just we're just at the in the stack somewhere. It's kind of crazy too. Because I've always felt like, who are these guys to tell anybody what someone's market value is? If the company is going to offers to pay the kid $1,500 to do something, that's the market. I mean,
yeah,
really?
100%.
You know what I mean? Like that. And what's going to happen is they're going to get feisty at some point and turn someone down. Then there'll be a lawsuit, right? And then the judge is going to say, what is this nonsense? This is ridiculous. You can't tell. You are tortiously interfering with a business relationship here, NCAA, and you're going to lose another lawsuit. And then that thing is going to eventually go away. We'll talk about this in a couple of years and say, remember that NIL Go clearinghouse thing? That was a joke. That's what I think is going to happen.
I don't disagree with you. Matter of fact, I'm friends with a lawyer who's trying to assemble a class action lawsuit now against the NCAA because of this very thing. He's like, so he called me last week. He goes, hey, give me any one of your contacts, especially from the coaching ranks. He says, I'm trying to get people so we can file it, but he needs like 30 or 40 just to make a class action lawsuit. But there are people who are gearing up for this already to take it to court. And so that doesn't surprise me that you say that. No. Are you only going to work? And I bring this up because of recent activity in the Big Ten. Have you laid it and said we're NIL only, meaning that if you fire a coach, because Penn State had to come up with $50 million to fire James Franklin. That's a lot of money. I don't care.
How about that?
$50 million.
You know what I read? I don't know if it's true, but I believe this because I was thinking about that. Like, let's say you've got a bunch of rich donors. I mean, I got to think it would take more than a few phone calls to round up $50 million.
You think?
But but here's the thing. I read, and I don't know if it's true, but I read on the interweb that it was Adidas that.
But they're a Nike school. They're a Nike school.
Are they really?
Yeah, they have the swoosh.
I was thinking it was the shoe company that basically said, this is damaging our brand and it's worth it to us to help fund this buyout so you can get somebody else in there. That would have made some level of sense to me because then that's one phone call effectively. But so that may not be true where I saw that because I was sitting there thinking like, how does someone just overnight virtually come up with $50-something million to get rid of a coach? Not even forget about how much it's going to cost to get the new coach. But getting someone to pay the buyout, my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, if you go after a Matt Rule, that's going to cost you $50 million. If you go after a Kurt Signetti, it's another $50 million. I mean, you could spend $100 million just firing a coach and getting a coach, which I think drives a lot of people nuts when you're out here trying to raise money just for, getting some good NIL deals. You see that kind of money just thrown around.
Amazing. Well, I wish Iowa had some guys that could just write a $50 million check. I'll tell you that right now.
Now, you are a money guy, and you're quite successful.
It's all relative. It's all relative.
It's all relative. I agree with you, but you're a successful human being. You run a very profitable business. You're passionate about Iowa, but you also know risk.
Yes.
I want to know the risk of private equity getting involved with the Big Ten. We're talking a $2 billion influx of cash. Now, I'm a peon. I'm a peasant. I hear private equity, and my sphincter gets really tight because you hear the nasty private equity stories of, you got to drive profits, hostile takeovers, all this other stuff. And I know they're trying to make this work, but when you hear $2 billion in private equity in college sports, and more specifically the Big Ten Conference, as a risk guy, what are the risks and what are the rewards? Well, we know what the reward is.
Well, I mean, they're wanting to infuse capital. What they're doing. Okay, these private equity guys are sharks. When I say sharks, they're really smart. I think of the sharks like that Shark Tank show. I mean, These guys are really, really smart, and they're very good business people. And what they see, and I can understand where they're coming from, what they see is a bunch of businesses, meaning athletic departments, that are run very poorly, meaning from a business standpoint. They're looking at this going, oh my gosh, we could make so much money. These guys have no, they're good at like administration stuff, but they're not good at running a business to try to make money. And like they're looking at the football uniform and going, that's a platform for all sorts of advertising. They're looking at the stadiums. They want to take it all over. And, private equity will change if they infuse, if they put a couple $2 billion in there, it's not a gift. Okay. I mean, it's an exchange for power and control, and they're going to get that stream of profits. And they believe that if you give them that asset, they're going to grow it like crazy. One other thing I do know about private equity is their goal is to buy an asset, grow it, double it up, triple it up, quadruple it up, whatever it is, over a very short period of time, and then resell it because they want to capitalize their investment. So what I would say is, once anybody goes private equity, I have private equity companies approach me all the time to try to buy my business. What I know about their model is buy it, build it fast, infuse capital to build it fast, and then sell it usually between 4 and 6 years. And then capitalize the investment, and then let another private equity company take it and try to do the same thing.
Well, what you're bringing in, because the Big Ten has talked about, they're not going to take total control. We're going to form a separate business entity, which comes down to sponsorships and stuff like that. The danger of that, right, is that, okay, and Troy Dannon from Nebraska has talked about there's more value in the collective than there is the individual. I look at it and go, well, okay, then you can lose some of that personalization. Every stadium could start looking the same, right? If every team's going to have the same patch, if every team is going to have the same thing in their stadiums, you're going to go, I'm just at the same place each and every week. Don't you? You could lose some of that personalization.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, well, there's definitely going to be some drawbacks, right? It has to be. But depending upon what the price tag is, will depend upon just how much control is received, right? And so the more billions that they want to write the check for, the more they're going to want for that. And you're right. It may take away some of the uniqueness of each place. Obviously, each school is still going to have its own unique characteristics, but you're right. The uniforms might all start looking very similar. Whatever the case may be, the courts or the fields might all look very similar. There's a lot of different ways that it could go for sure.
Yeah, I mean, a good way to do it is like you may have an Adidas school like Nebraska, a Nike school like Iowa. When those contracts, private equity owns this now. Everybody in the Big Ten is a Nike conference, right? I mean, that's what we're talking about because there's more value there for Nike or Adidas or whoever would be.
Well, what's interesting is, and I didn't know this until I got into this Iowa collective thing, is that Iowa already does something a little bit like this on a very small level. People don't realize, like this company called Learfield. Learfield pays Iowa a certain amount, right? And then Learfield controls the advertising, the radio rights, the whatever else in Kinnick and Carver Hawkeye. So all the radio ads and the stuff that you see in Kinnick, the ads on whatever, they're paying Learfield. They're not paying Iowa. So that's what you already have an exchange right now that's somewhat similar in that Learfield pays Iowa a lump sum, and then Learfield gets to make money on all the advertising in and around Kinnick and Carver and through the radio and all that stuff. So there's already on a very small level already an exchange like that just at Iowa, and I think most of the other Big Ten schools have something similar.
Yeah, I mean Learfield, it's not a full monopoly, but it's pretty close when it comes to the major college influxes for sure.
They do have a lion's share of that business.
So is it hard when private equity calls you to say no, or are you waiting to hand the company over to the kids when they're done at Virginia?
No, my kids have absolutely no interest in being an actuary. They're like, that's the dumbest profession ever. They're looking for they want the job that makes them millions of dollars where they don't have to work hard. So
they want to be They want to be YouTubers.
Probably they already are. I mean, it's they're just it's crazy. They think that there's so many easier ways of making money and blah blah. And who knows? They may end up figuring it out, but. My hunch is that they may at some point start to respect their father a little bit more, but we're on hold for that.
If somebody makes a donation to the Swarm before November 1st, is that still tax deductible?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then afterwards, it'll go to paying for tickets to events with virtual or others, and they'll get to choose what events they want to have tickets to and that kind of thing, and we'll just share the ticket revenue with the players.
Excellent stuff. Brad, I know you're enjoying your day off in Virginia. I appreciate you giving me a half hour to discuss this. It's interesting in the ever-changing dynamics. I know it won't be the last time we talk, but enjoy your federal holiday, and
thank you.
Have fun with the wife. Is your wife with you, by the way?
Oh, yeah. So we're both, it's one of those where we come to campus and then the kids have lined out every single meal that we're paying for so they don't have to eat crappy food. So last night they each ordered a 32-ounce porterhouse, like $100 each. And we just sat there and watched them just eat like Wolverines, for about an hour and a half. And it'll be the same thing today.
You're a good dad. You're a good dad, man. All right, we'll catch up soon. Thanks, Brad. Appreciate it.
Take care, guys.
All right, yep. Brad Heinrichs from the Swarm Inc. joining us on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Good information there, especially when it comes to that clearinghouse, which is still not effective. Can you imagine a player saying, yeah, I'm going to take this gig, and then you don't get paid? Actually, it happens more in business than when you realize. You'd be surprised how many invoices you send out and companies fall 2, 3, 4 months behind. You're like, hey, are you ever going to pay me? You ever going to pay me? Because it happens. People, I can push this invoice off. I can push it off. No need to hurry now. 515-517-2303. Take a break. Hopefully Ross connects back up. We got a half hour to go. And the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's $25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's $25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's $25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
This is Darcy at Willis Chevrolet. When's the last time that you got new tires? From now till the end of November, we are offering buy 3 tires, get 1 for $1. Our extreme savings. Also, if you sign up for a GM credit card, you can get another $250 off the price of the 4 tires. So it's a win-win. Give us a call today, and we can price you a set of 4 or visit us online to set up an appointment at willischevy.com.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
Missing a quality home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Every business has priorities, and Priority One Heating and Cooling is no different. As a service provider, we prioritize quality air conditioners and furnaces that will keep your home at your comfort level year-round. As a small business, we prioritize doing things the right way and treating people fairly. As a truly local business, we prioritize our community. As a veteran-owned business, we prioritize duty and commitment. For big business service with local value, trust your home to the place where you are always Priority One.
Hi, I'm Bradley Ollinger here at Willis Nissan. Now until October, we are offering buy 3 tires, get the 4th for $1. Take advantage of this deal right now before winter. Go online today at willisnissan.com to schedule your tire placement today, and we'll see you on the service drive.
Rush, strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
And he's back. Ross, you're going to be really mad at me. Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you give a walking tour real quick? I just all of a sudden, you're going to say, why didn't you do it during the break? I got to pee. It literally just came up on me. Can you give a walking tour?
Happily do a walking tour. Here's the deal. I can't see you, so you're going to have to talk to me when you get back because I won't know.
I just said, I came back and went, I got to pee. I go, why did I do that in a 4-minute break? But give a walking tour. I'll be right back.
Absolutely. All right. So this morning, Courtney and I started what's called the Boyne Valley Camino. Just outside of Dublin, north of Dublin, there is a town called Drogheda. From Drogheda, in fact, you can actually start this at the Guinness Brewery. They have a sign there that says your Camino starts here. And folks can start from the St. James Gate Brewery at Guinness and walk their way to St. Patrick's Cathedral. And then from St. Patrick's Cathedral, you walk the Boyne Valley out, and there's all sorts of these amazing old ruins. And we have no idea. I mean, growing up in America and having been educated about our country's history, man, a couple hundred years old is really old in America. This stuff is thousands of years old. We walked around a castle today that had ruins from the 12th century through the 15th century. And it was incredible. So that was kind of the beginning of our journey today. We walked, I don't want to say up a mountain, but felt like we walked up a mountain this morning. Turned
That's
into
good for
this,
you.
Yeah, turned into this unbelievable neighborhood, Trav, and that ended us up at that castle. And I tried to send you some of those photos and videos from this morning.
I got
so you
them.
get an idea of what this is. So now we're in this incredible garden. And you can see behind me, I mean, I tried to show you guys earlier we were up there earlier. That's where they shut the Wi-Fi off on me, and they did it again.
Jerks.
So, the jerks. So, and in Ireland, Travis, it's not a cuss word. You say feckin' jerks.
Yeah,
feckin'.
Feckin'.
Yeah, feckin' jerks.
What? There is something powerful about the word feck, right? You're like,
yeah.
It's almost like, oh, that stings because I know what you're saying. Do they call them feckers? Do they go, hey,
I've
fecker?
heard fecker a lot. Yep. Feckin' Americans. Do we hear that a lot?
That's what they're saying right now as you're walking away. That feckin' American coming in here thinking.
Oh, they're watching me. See all those windows? It looks like a country club. All those windows are full of people calling me fecker right now because I'm the reason none of them can use the Wi-Fi because of me. They shut off the Wi-Fi so that nobody could use it.
See, you should have brought the Starlink, but we didn't have the backpack for you. But then you would have needed
I could have
power.
packed it. We know for next year. So then, Travis, this is actually the grounds for. There's Courtney. She doesn't like camera. This is actually the house, the gardener's house.
Oh, okay.
So the folks that would garden that entire grounds there would live in this little cottage house. And then this is their workstation. Those are some of their greenhouses that they had. So this was built.
A long
have you
time
seen
ago.
anything, Courtney, about when this was built? I'm guessing, Travis, like 13th, 14th century,
Wow.
something like that.
Well,
It's crazy.
You sent me a couple things because you did a little history thing, or like you told me about Lindbergh and the pilot, and then something about a discoverer who discovered. Today's Columbus Day, by the way. Today's Columbus Day.
Well, apparently we're supposed to celebrate Brendan the Navigator. Have you ever heard of Brendan the Navigator?
I have not.
Neither had I. And so, in Ireland, they have a little bit of a different history, Trav, and Ireland, and I'm learning Scotland. You will find a lot of things. You'll find a lot of claims, is the way I'm supposed to say it. Okay. For instance, we were just outside of the Guinness Brewery. There's a bar called the Brazen Head. They call the Brazen Head the oldest pub in the world. Most of you that have been to Ireland have gone to the middle of the country where there's Sean's Bar, the oldest bar in the world. So the Brazen Head is actually the oldest pub in the world. Now, the difference between pub and bar is who was allowed to go inside, who was allowed to be basically a patron. And for the pub, it was for the public. It was for the unwashed, if you will. But the bars, they were for kind of the noblemen in a way.
Okay.
So the pub, the Brazen Head, has an open air space, what we would call a patio. And that was where the public was allowed to be. The bar, you had to have special permission to get into the bar. So that's one of their distinctions. But again, lots of claims. I didn't know anything about Alcock and Brown. I'd never heard that phrase before. Alcock and Brown were two pilots that in 1919, 7 years before Lindbergh, flew across the Atlantic. They did it as a duo, and then Lindbergh was the first to do it solo.
And who's Brendan the Navigator? So
Brendan the Navigator, dude, in like the 4th, 5th, 6th century, something like that. I think it was 500 AD. He and 16 monks, and there's some distinction about whether it was 16 monks or 13 monks and 3 tagalongs. They decided to get in a boat and see what they could find. And the claim here in Ireland is that they were the first Europeans to find America and sail back. There is no archaeological evidence that they actually found America, but it's the claim here in Ireland. So,
well, what do we say? Victors get to write history, right? Victors get to write history.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. So, yeah, we're walking the Boyne Valley Camino. We have probably about 12, 13 kilometers left, which is essentially like 6 miles, something like that. So we got about a 6-mile walk to a bar, and that's where we're meeting our friend Patrick to have our last pint of Guinness.
Getting back to sports, do you come back tomorrow, by the way?
Yes, I do. So I'm going to miss the show tomorrow. You knew that, right?
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to find somebody. Okay. Anybody want to co-host the show with me? Let me know. That can be fun.
You can do it from your phone. You can do it from your phone while you're walking around.
Yeah,
Look.
Yeah, you can do it from your phone. You do all sorts of things.
Even when you're carrying all your gear, even when you got all that heavy gear in your backpack, you can just do it from your phone.
Tyler says, Rev can co-host the show.
For about 4 minutes.
Yeah. Rev would smoke a bong the entire time we were doing the show together. So,
well, I think, Trav, you'd only get about 4 minutes of because we always used to joke about Rev is like kind of grabbing water. You know what I mean? He kind of is all over the board. He'd throw out some Eagles lyrics to you. He'd talk about, talk crap about God. And then you'd be like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, it's like a good 15, 20-minute conversation. Then it's down goes the plane.
Or all over goes the plane.
Were you surprised Iowa State got beat by Colorado?
Yeah, Trav, that's one I haven't had a chance to see many highlights of. So I really would rely on you to tell me exactly what happened there because I didn't see that coming. I thought that Colorado was struggling. I thought that Iowa State was headed in the right direction. Maybe, it's tough to say after when you've just come off a loss, but I did think they were a better team than Colorado, so disappointing that to see that outcome.
A horrible. I mean, I'm not one to criticize officials. It's a hard job. Horrible call, a non-call, because there was a pass interference that was not called. Matt Campbell was livid. You could see it in his expressions. I mean, when he's mad on the sidelines, when Matt Campbell's pretty upset, right? And they got hosed, and I felt sorry for him. But unfortunately, there's nothing you can do in that situation. We've seen other teams Auburn got hosed. It happens, but when it happens at the wrong time, when it happens at a crucial moment, it can be devastating and affect the game. I thought it definitely affected the game, affected the outcome of the game. And that's where, and I know you can't, why can't we instant replay? I mean, you can go back and instant replay a targeting call. Why can't you go back and go, hey, let's go back and look and see if that was pass interference? Because you may not have had the right angle.
Trav, one of my things I've talked about with instant replay all the time. Why do we have rules about what can and can't be reviewed? I think it should get to the point where holding calls are part of. I know that sounds crazy to people. That's how you're going to clean up the game. That's how you're going to get rid of it. You have to start catching these guys doing it and then calling it. And people go, well, that'd be every play. Not for a long time. Not for a long time. Coaches would stop teaching guys to hold. Stepsis did it for us the other day. Remember that? He's like, yeah, there's a way that you can hold a guy by his shoulder pads. Yeah,
well,
you don't do it.
Well, I mean, there is an unwritten rule, and it's about position, because there is holding on every play. But Dr. Rob tells me, he's a former NFL guy, played a lot. He's like, if you keep your hands here, right? If you're here, you're good. You get out here, that's holding. I mean, there is a way to block, right? And so if you're right here in the shoulder pads, you can do it. It's gonna go. If you get outside that, that's when they're gonna most likely throw the flag. Not always, but most likely throw the flag.
Yeah. So again, I know that sounds crazy, and I know that sometimes my ideas do sound a little bit wacky. This is a great example. Now, Trav, I think though I did see the pass interference that you're talking about. It happens in the end zone, right? The two players collide with each other. They fall into the end zone together, and that. Certainly, is that the one that was the bad call that Campbell was freaking out about?
Well, it was the one where I think there was an interception on it. If I'm just trying to remember, yeah. So that's the bad call I'm talking about.
That's
a lot of people are saying, well, the interception happened 8 yards in front of the pass interference. Interception still, I mean, pass interference is still pass interference.
Listen, having an illegal receiver downfield when a lineman, we saw this with who was it that kept Cincinnati, right? Yeah. Where their offensive linemen kept even if they were losing their balance and going forward. Did it impact the play? No. Did the guy break the rules? Yes. And they're able to watch that. And again, I credit Matt Campbell for that series of calls that happened against Cincinnati because it happened right after he yelled at the officials about them playing undisciplined football. My interpretation of that. And this is an unfortunate one where they can't go back because of that stupid rule that says, no, we can't do that. And I believe the reasoning is, well, man, if we open that can of worms, then we've always got to go back and look at every receiver on every play and see what happened. I think that there will come a time when that all happens, and it happens pretty quickly. It won't slow the game down, and it'll make the game a better game when that happens. We won't have to bitch about stuff like this and officials putting their heavy hand on the game.
Now, you're missing it in the chat, but, Iowa State fans going back and forth, Iowa fans calling Iowa fans crybabies, and Iowa State fans saying, Iowa fans going to sleep, still saying it wasn't a fair catch. Here's the deal. When I look at it, when I look at penalties, and I do this even when the team I support is playing, I try to look at it through the lens, would I be pissed if I was on the other side? So if you're an Iowa fan and that play happened to you, would you be saying that's a pass interference? And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a yes, man. You're going to be ticked off because of it.
Trav, on all of those situations, I think you're exactly right. If this will piss off Hawkeye fans, if I would have seen a Penn State returner do what Cooper DeJean did, I would have been screaming, that's a fair catch signal. That's a fair catch signal. Now, you and I remember we were in the studio when that happened, right? And right away you said, that's not a fair catch signal. And I said, I thought it was. Watching it again, I realized what he was doing there, but as an official, I could have totally seen. And again, put yourself in the other team's position for just a moment. And quite frankly, Trav, watching the pass interference, Iowa State fans will hate me now. There's a case to be made that that's not a pass interference. They run into each other and the two guys fall down. Do Iowa State fans see the Colorado player grabbing him and pulling him to the ground? And again, I want to make sure that I'm talking about the right moment.
You are. You are.
Okay. Does he grab the player and pull him to the ground? Yes. Can Colorado fans see that as he ran into him? Yeah, they can. And apparently that's what the officials ended up seeing. When I saw it, I saw a pass interference. When you try to see it through the other lens, it's pretty easy to go, oh, okay, yeah, that's a shitty call, and it worked against my team. And it's a pivotal moment, no doubt about it. You're getting ready to score, and now it's a turnover. Is that the reason you lost the game?
No.
It rarely is one call. It rarely is that one call that truly turned the tide of the game. Now the DeJean thing, but
let me back up. Maybe it is, because if it's pass interference, you get the ball back and you're in the red zone, it might be the reason you lose the game, right? I mean, so you could make the argument, yeah, it's the reason they lost the game, but you don't know if they would have settled for a field goal. You don't know whether they would have scored a touchdown.
And it's that old adage of I didn't think this game was going to be close enough for the officials to make that big of an impact. I thought that Iowa State would win this game by 14. And until I can go back and watch it and see how good Colorado is and see where Iowa State kind of struggled, it's probably unfair for me to really comment on it. But I do think it's one of those situations of when it's that close that that one call can swing the game like that. Then you got other things to address. And I mean, Cyclone fans this has been an ongoing thing for a long time, that these are close games. The margin of error is so narrow that a call like that does seem to have a big impact on Cyclone games a lot.
One of the funnier moments after the game, and I don't know if you saw this or not. I mean, how do you know that this was a big win? Colorado fans stormed the field for beating Iowa State. Think about it. They stormed the field. Afterwards, Coach Prime, Dion Sanders, all in favor of the field rush. But then he was informed that Colorado was going to get fined $50,000. He's like, what are you talking about? It shows you he doesn't pay attention to anything outside probably what's going on in this program. He had no idea that they were going to get fined $50,000. And then he goes like, well, we had 50,000 people here. Just everybody throw in a buck. We got it covered. Everybody just pitch in. You had fun.
Dude, have you heard his quote about the first time they had a home game in Boulder and the smell of weed? Have you heard him talk about that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's like, I don't smoke weed.
It was like news to him that they smoke weed in Boulder. That's how unconnected he is to stuff outside of his life.
Per capita, I don't know if any town smokes more weed than Boulder does. It's just oblivious to everything else, which is enduring because it's vulnerable, it's authentic. It's like $50,000. Oh, man.
What a funny line. There was 50,000 people here. Everybody throwing a buck.
I don't know is this true? I didn't see this. Betty says Dion said he didn't know Iowa State was called the Cyclones in a conference call last week.
Listen, didn't I tell you that story, Trav, about Phil Simms and Lawrence Taylor?
Yeah, about not knowing what the teams were called in the National Football League.
Lawrence Taylor, again, fellow Hall of Famer with Dion Sanders, didn't know the names of the teams he played. And Phil Simms was telling some people said, yeah, when LT's around, watch, he doesn't know who the teams are. The guys that Phil Simms were broadcasting with didn't believe it. They're like, come on. LT showed up, And he and Phil Simms are, "What's up, man? Great to see you. How you been?" They start reminiscing. And in the middle of a conversation, Lawrence Taylor says to him, "Hey, what's the name of that team we used to play down in New Orleans?" And Phil Simms says, "The Saints." And he goes, yeah, we're playing the Saints one time. Dion knew how to Dion loved football. He was great at football. He didn't need to know the names of the teams.
No. Is it disrespectful not to know? I don't. It depends on how it comes off. If it comes off, they're called the Cyclones.
What a great question, Trav. Is that disrespectful? I mean, I feel like disrespect requires intent.
That's a good way to put it.
That, a lot of people we feel disrespected when a person is just ignorant. And you shouldn't. You should feel disrespected when a person knows what they're doing and intentionally disrespects you. My gut is that Dion didn't know. What would be a fun question? Remember the question they threw at Mike Leach when he was at Washington State? And they said, who would win in a fight amongst all the Pac-12 mascots? Do you remember this?
And he broke it down. He went
it down. He was like, well, first we got to decide how much power the Sun Devil has. I mean, he's going to have a Cougar. We'll stay back and stay in the fight. A Bruin, that's a bear. Stanford, that tree ain't got a chance. He knew every one of them. What if they asked Dion Sanders that question? Would he know them off the top of his head? I don't think he would.
He would just say, we got the Buffalo, and we'll let him run, and he'll just mow everybody over.
He'd probably say something like, well, I don't know, that Longhorn, and we got to decide what a Sooner is.
They're not in the Big 12 anymore, Coach.
I know, that's my point. Wow. And I don't think that would be disrespectful. I think that's Dion focused on what he thinks he's supposed to be focused on. That is funny.
Coaches live in their own little bubble. They really do. They focus on one thing, and that's it.
Trav, we always used to joke about that thing when coaches would refer to players by their number, right? And I remember we were talking with somebody one time, and they said, no, a lot of times that's real. A lot of times the coach doesn't know the dude's name because he's watching film, and he's not listening to a broadcast of it. He's watching film. And so when he's watching film, all he knows that guy as is number 12. Oh, that guy's a Heisman Trophy winner. Yeah, he doesn't know that. I don't think that, it's probably easy for us fans who are diehards about this stuff, who eat this stuff up, to look at that and go, how disrespectful. I mean, for a Cyclone fan who's got Cyclone gear all over their house, all through their closet, they live and breathe Cyclone, they see that and they go, that's disrespectful. Well, maybe not. Maybe there's not the intent there. And I would say the same thing to Dion Sanders, by the way, when he gets pissed off that people don't call him Prime or Coach Prime. If somebody says Dion, well, that's your name, man. I don't mean it to be disrespectful. I didn't know that this was something you had to do. I didn't know your team was the Cyclones. It's an interesting thing. I don't put it past Dion to be that big of a jerk also.
I would agree with you on that. I would agree with you on that. ALCS got started last night. Seattle goes to Toronto, gets a win over the Blue Jays, 3-1. Cal Raleigh had a home run. Toronto had, it was good pitching until like the 6th. But, for Seattle to get that first win on the road, that's a huge – though I got to believe that the networks don't want Seattle in the World Series.
Trav, who do they want?
They want the Dodgers. They want the Dodgers in the World Series,
and then it doesn't matter. I really don't think it matters between Seattle and Toronto. And this might be, as far as television eyeballs, or as far as just general interest. Man, Mariners, Blue Jays. And again, I know we have Blue Jays fans in Central Iowa. I know we have some Mariners fans in Central Iowa. It's not a disrespectful knock on them. There's just not going to be as much interest in the Mariners Blue Jays as there's going to be in a Dodgers series. So I'm glad that I hope it's a fun series. I really do. I hope it goes 7 and we get a great series and Cal Raleigh explodes his stardom into a whole nother stratosphere, because that's what's possible here. But outside of that, like as far as who baseball wants, boy, I think that
I think this is a coin toss between Toronto and Seattle.
Well, I think a good example above the fold, and on a website, I know there's no fold, but when you go to a website and you get that main screen, you go to ESPN.com right now, and the top headlines, the ALCS isn't even there. The only story having to pertain to baseball is LA to start Snell in Game 1, Ohtani later in the NLCS. You have to go to the Major League Baseball section to even get anything about the ALCS, and I think that says a lot.
Yep. Yep. And Trav, why you know this? They do that based on the clicks.
Yep. 100%. Ooh, and I think Ross's battery. I got you. There you go.
I didn't know if I lost you there.
No, I thought your battery went dead.
No, I was getting a FaceTime from one of Audrey's friends. So
don't bother me right now. But you bring up clicks. Yeah. You wonder why some stuff, like, why is that story there? Because people are clicking on that story, and they'll move it around to see what gets more clicks and what doesn't get more clicks.
Yep.
By the way, we didn't bring it up. We talked about James Franklin. We talked a little about Luke Fickell. Trent Dilfer was fired at UAB. He didn't really have any college experience going into that position. He went 5-14 overall, and then Kent Bray was fired at Oregon State. They're off to an 0-7 start. Washington State, who's going to be in that newly formed Pac-12, went to Ole Miss and gave Ole Miss all it could handle. Oregon State's just bad, and it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds with the Pac-12. And is Oregon State a desirable job? But those aren't going to be two jobs we talk. Penn State's going to be the one, and if Wisconsin opens up, that's the job that's going to be talked about. But again, more college football coaches getting fired as the season goes along, which doesn't surprise me. All right, what's on the docket for the? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, this is why Penn State was smart to fire Franklin. Now you get you will get the pick of the litter by being out there, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Wisconsin. You have to have your name in the fray before all the good-looking guys start to become single.
Penn State could have saved itself some money. Could have went to James Franklin and said, "Hey, we're going to fire you at the end of the season. So if you go take another job, we won't make said school pay us. If you go take the Florida job, if you go take another job, we'll waive the buyout because we want you gone."
Would have been smart.
Yeah.
You asked about the rest of the day, so we're going to take off up this walkway over here, walk out those stone gates there, and head down the Boyne River Valley. We're going to walk under one of the most iconic bridges in all of Ireland, and then at some point today, we're going to go see ruins that are older than the pyramids. Travis.
Wow, you're going to be into that. That's your deal.
That's my jam, baby.
All right, well, you travel safe. You're not going to be here tomorrow. We'll be back on Wednesday with you. I'll find a co-host for tomorrow.
All right,
I don't know who it's going to be, but I'll find one.
Thanks for playing with me today, man. I'm so sorry. We really did try.
No. The Irish aren't nice people. We just figured that out. It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
It's Body Armor. Real hydration with electrolytes. No artificial dyes and coconut water. Choose better. Body Armor.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
It's October at Willis Nissan, and the savings this month are scary good. Lease the stylish Nissan Sentra or the versatile Nissan Kicks for payments so low, we call them fun size. And that's not the only trick up our sleeves this month. Right now, you can get 0% APR on Murano and Pathfinder, or take advantage of customer cash. All those treats, and we won't even make you tell us a joke. Visit us online at willisnissan.com or stop into our showroom today.
Bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Before we get out of here, don't forget about the Iowa Lottery Weekly Woohoo coming up on Friday. Iowa Lottery celebrating 40 years of fun in 2025. And this week's prize pack includes Scratch, Match, and Win and Iowa Blackout Scratch tickets, plus some Mega Millions free play coupons. It's a prize pack valued at $90. Your chance to win a Cyclone football promotion, a Hawkeye Blackout promotion, so you can go to an Iowa State game, you can go to an Iowa game and have lots of fun. It's all from the Iowa Lottery at the iowalottery.com.